The world our kids are growing up in is changing faster than ever. From AI to rapid advances in technology, the skills that will define their future success are very different from the ones that we grew up with. So, how do we as parents prepare our children to thrive in a world we can barely predict? Today on Just Saying, I'm joined with Sid Mohasseb, known as the entrepreneur philosopher. Sid is a two-time TED speaker, best-selling author, and innovation thought leader who's helping families and leaders understand how to navigate this era. If you've ever wondered how to raise adaptable, confident, and future-ready kids, this episode's for you. Let's jump in. Hey friends, I'm here today with Sid Mohasseb, a best-selling author. He's an entrepreneur, a TED speaker, and innovation thought leader. He is the entrepreneur philosopher. And Sid, thank you for being on Just Saying today.
It is a pleasure to be with you, Jessica.
Thank you. Okay, so let's dive in a little bit. Let's rewind. Let's talk about your story. Let's get to the beginning, not the very beginning. Like somebody asked me that the other day and I'm like, oh yeah, okay. So on the way to my delivery. And so he's like, whoa, not that far. So, but you know what I mean? Let's talk a little bit about, your story and how you became the entrepreneur philosopher.
Sure, I'll keep it brief because what I say is not my story that matters. It's your story, and it's everybody, every listener that you have, or people who are watching. It's their stories is more important. But hey, I'm an immigrant. I came to the United States when I was 16 by myself. Went to school, went to college, started a business out of college, and sold that, and joined a consulting firm. I was there for quite a while. I became a partner there. Then did turnarounds of companies. Did about uh, started 4 or 5 companies. That's why the serial entrepreneur part. And um,
If
and
you don't
then
if you don't mind me asking, like what type of
sure,
businesses were you opening?
mostly in technology,
Okay.
mostly software. I've done hardware. I've done distribution. I've done manufacturing. Turnarounds, meaning they were in trouble and I turned them around. But then I turned into an investor. I was the president of largest angel investment entity. I made investments. I still do in early stage companies. A man or a woman with a laptop kind of idea. And then I sold one company to a very big organization, KPMG, and joined them as the national lead for strategic innovation. And now, along the way, I've been teaching at multiple places at UCI, at Chapman University, and at USC. Now I do 3 or 4 things. One is I still make investments in early stage companies. I serve on boards and all that. I teach at USC both in engineering and business school, master's and MBA level, and I do a lot of writing. I've got a couple of books, as you mentioned. I'm an author, and I do a lot of writing and speaking engagements and things of that sort. And my latest passion that I'm hoping we'll get some chance to talk about is the very non-academic Anabasis Academy, where it's all about provoking and engaging folks to realize their best version, and build a great future.
So not not okay, so explain a little bit more about your academy, if you don't
Yeah, but
mind.
the non-academic
Yeah,
academy.
'cause I kinda was like, "Well, wait, what did he say? How did he say it?" Sorry.
So here's how our education, and again, I've been a teacher for professor for a long time. So here's how our education system works. It's like pouring water into a canister, into a vase, which we call our brain, and we help people formulate and have things that are preconceived. Somebody else says 2 plus 2 is this, therefore I'm going to teach you that. Somebody says, and for some things, I don't know, engineering, civil engineering, building a bridge. It's great. So you memorize certain things. Uh, but the real education, where we really evolve, where we really tap into our innovation and creativity, comes from igniting a fire in your brain, that you would then take that fire, and you can explore, and you can learn more, and you can expand it in all sorts of dimensions. You put all the different pieces of the puzzle together, as opposed to somebody giving you and says, here's a problem, here's the pieces of the puzzle, go put them together in a way that that works for you. So over the past many years, I've helped many entrepreneurs and many students, either on the board or when they were looking for funding or as students, with this idea that I can't motivate you, nobody can. You can only motivate yourself. This is a sugar rush they give you, and then you're all and this thing about being practical, give me practical advice. I don't know you to give you practical advice. You're very different than me. What I can do is provoke you. I can show you the different dimensions of life and entrepreneurship and creativity and accomplishment and our emotions and all our fear, all of that stuff. I can show you the different views of it. And you and only you can put all those pieces together and create your best version. Actually, your just next best version because we're never done. We die when we're done. Uh, and that became the core of this, what I call a very non-academic academy, because we don't have any tests. You don't get a certificate. Uh, you can begin wherever you want. You can end wherever you want. It's not for people who have a PhD, and it's not for people who don't have any education. It's for people who care to grow, because we all inherently in our genes are built to want more, create more, be more. But we've got to figure out how the pieces work together and balance or harmonize our emotions, the way we make decisions, the way we commit, our courage, and the realities of the world. It's not a disconnected thing. Does that all make sense?
Yeah, I mean, kind of in a way, is it like I mean, I hate to use this term because it seems like it's saturated, but like a coaching type experience where
It's not.
you're no,
It's not.
okay.
Okay. Coaching requires me to sit with you one on one, and then we have a business, and I coach you to do ABC. Who am I to decide what your life should be? I'm just I'm just an old fart. Who am I? All right. What I believe, and this is how the academy works essentially. There's something we call a wake up call, which happens and is for free, and people can join wherever. And we have people joining from China to India to Mexico to all across the U.S., Europe, and so forth. And we pick a topic, a very narrow topic. For 15 minutes, I talk about that topic. Very narrow. What is the topic? Why do we all think we're all right? Resilience, pivoting in business. Actually, we have one tomorrow, and it's called staying relevant. So I'll talk about what dimensionality that has, and then we open it up for discussion, and different people have different views. So we begin to learn from each other. So I'm not coaching them. I'm just opening up a topic. I'm provoking them to see the dimensions. And then we have an entrepreneur who joins us. We call it the hot seat. And again, we have a conversation, usually about this idea of what we talked about before. So that's just one piece. Then we have these things we call expert circles. And I bring in, I don't know, people like the inventor of the cell phone, literally, who we pick again one topic and we talk about that topic. It's not about what they've done. It's not why they're great. It's not their journey of look at me, I'm all that and a bag of chips, because I'm not you. You're you, and you have to be authentically putting together this thing. Build your own leadership, your own commitment structure, your own risk tolerance, your own all that sort of stuff. And then we have some things they call which are 7 5 7 minute uh, videos. We call collections. They're conversational collections, and they again talk about very narrow topics put together in a package, if you will. There's conversations in the public square about all these topics. There's things that we give people. So if you notice, and I did a analysis. I mean, not an analysis. I asked Chat GPT and Grok, Elon Musk thing, and Gemini from Google. I said, well, compare our academy, Anabasis Academy, to all these other conventional leadership things, master classes, coaching things, and motivational things. And they all came with something that I thought was interesting. It says it is radically different.
That's interesting.
Radically different.
Right. I mean, radically different just means that to me means it well, obviously that it's not the other ones are they're all built in the same type of structure, la 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 la, and you're thinking outside the box and diving into the entrepreneur, if I could say the word entrepreneurial spirit of your clients or whatever you want to call them, students, I guess.
Members, we call
Yep.
them.
Okay, sorry.
We call them members. We call them learning partners. That's who they
Okay,
are.
your learning partners. And so to be considered radically different is actually, I mean, so plus positive, right? So that,
That's
you
what
know,
I thought. I was going to call Elon Musk and say, "Hey, give this Grok thing a couple of brownie points."
right,
But the fact is, when you're radically different, it's hard for people to imagine because we're designed to follow how to's, Jessica. That's what our education system. I mean, look at all the stuff on social media. Do one, two, three, and boom, you're going to be there. And this is part of this. Is I know is one thing you wanted to talk about. This is one of the reasons we're so afraid of AI because AI can follow instructions a lot better than you and I. It can memorize a lot of things a lot better than you and I. It can put logical things, 2 and 2 and 17, and it can multiply big numbers, small numbers, calculate all sorts of stuff, read all the books in the world and put them together and summarize them, right? It can do a lot more from a memorization perspective. And we're afraid because we've been taught to follow these steps. Look, uh, go to your Instagram or your Facebook or wherever is your choice of TikTok, and you see all of these things say do one, two, three, and you're going to be a trillionaire. But that's not life. Life is not like going to IKEA and buying a bookcase that everything is nicely fit together. It just isn't. And we're trying to do that, and now there comes AI and it's challenging the way we used to think. So it's time for us to kind of open up a different dimension to say stop. I don't need to follow your 1, 2, 3. Yeah, I need to learn from your 1, 2, 3, but chat gpt and others can give me the summary, can give me all this stuff really like that. Okay, now I got that. Now what do I do with it?
right. I think like in education, I know there's a lot of talk about should you allow it for your homework or should you not? I mean, why not use I call my chat GPT Chad. His name's Chad. I always say, thanks, Chad. He's like, you got it. I don't have a relationship with Chad, but he is so nice to me. But I think that if you could, let's say I want to do an algebraic, this certain type of equation, you can ask them for examples and it could help you and explain every step if you're not, you know what I mean? A lot better than probably your textbook can. And so why not use it as a tool? And also in writing, you know, the way I look at it is if you put all the elements in there, they're going to put it together just in better English. And what happens is you're going to learn to be a better writer because you're going to see how it's written through chat.
Jessica, you are right, but there is an issue. So let me tell you the couple of issues that comes.
Well, you're the
I see
educator.
I see people using all of these AI tools as productivity tools. That's I want to do what I want to do faster. Okay,
Right. Like put me
so
together a P&L like or like or what a good form for this or
good form for this. Write this email for me because I don't want to take the time to read it. So now the computer begins to think like you, act like you, be you, kind of mimic you. And I'll give you an example that I have an argument with these AI tools. Literally an argument. I'll tell you what. But so what in the essence of being productive, what we're doing is was creating this thing, we call it an AI tool, that that l- that is exactly like us. That does what we do, right? It mimics us. Okay, so now we're not learning; we're just duplicating who we are. Imagine 5 years from now, you haven't learned anything new because this thing is doing it. So you're right here, and this thing is doing all this stuff because in the sake of productivity. So most students don't actually go and read why this thing wrote this email this way or that way. They don't know. It just does. Okay, it was faster. I can go out and have a beer.
right.
Okay, so that's one problem. For example, I do use all these AI tools all the time, but I use it to dispute myself because I know who I am. I can write an email. I never write a two-page email because it's stupid. Nobody reads it.
Right.
So I can write an email. I don't need you to write me an email. I could do that. But I need you to be an extension of my knowledge to dispute me. So a lot of times I do something and it comes back to me and says, is this in the context of Anabasis Academy? This is what it is. I said, did I tell you what the context is? No. I want this answer. Don't make me fit into a box because it's easier. Right? Don't fit it into this box. Okay. Let me fit the pieces of the puzzle together. I don't want you to be creative or innovative. I want you to be an extension of my functional an extension of my knowledge base on all these because I've read maybe 1,000 books. You've read 100, 200, a million books. So you're smarter than me from a book smart perspective, right? So the problem is, and this is a people problem. It's not an AI problem. Now, people blame all this media stuff because it's you get attention. We blame it on the AI. Oh, it's going haywire. Oh, it's not. Well, if you use it as a productivity tool and you try to not to do things, then you're turning yourself stupid. That thing isn't turning you stupid. You're turning yourself stupid. Well, don't. It's a choice.
That's true. Do you ever, can I ask you a question, maybe a little off topic? I mean, I do want to stick to the AI a little bit, but I was going to ask you this. Do you ever see an entrepreneur that has all these big ideas, but then doesn't really have what it takes to pull it all together? I mean, they maybe they have, pie in the sky kind of ideas, but they don't know or have organizational skills or follow through or anything that it takes to put a business together. And then you have to tell them the sad truth, sorry, dude, this isn't for you.
I've probably seen 10,000 of them.
Really? Okay.
But let me explain because it does. First of all, I define entrepreneurship or who an entrepreneur is based on the original definition of an entrepreneur from the 1700s. So I didn't make this up. This is actually the definition. An entrepreneur is someone who has something, who wishes to exchange it with something of higher value, knowing that there is risk. So you have something, you want to exchange that with something of higher value, and you know that it may not happen. What is it that you have? Whatever you decide. It could be your time. It could be your idea. It could be a product. It could be your services. It could be your talent to play basketball, or it could be anything. You decide what you have. You have something that comes from your abilities, your education, your background. We're all different, right? And then you decide to exchange it for something of higher value. You decide what higher value is. Is it a better family? Is it three boats and a massive mansion? Is it playing golf on the weekends? Is it what is it? Is it divorcing your husband and going on and having a boy? I don't know what it is. Whatever it is, it's you decide what that is. What is better, right?
The
So
spoils, right?
so you decide what you have, you decide what is better, and then you know that there is a risk. So let's say we go to school, we spend our money to go to college, we stay up at night and study and all that sort of stuff in hopes of. So that's what we have. We have money, we have our time, we have our intelligence. We're investing it in getting a degree because we think a degree is of higher value. We have a better life if we have a degree, right? That's why we do it. We're exchanging it, our time, our money, our efforts. But there is a risk. You may graduate and never find a job or get a shitty job. But
Or
the
get a
risk
job
is
that
lower.
pays for your degree. I mean, that's
Or
kind of like what
get it,
happened.
or get a job that you hate, right? So here's the thing. We're all entrepreneurs. So let's have that. So the fact that you have an idea or a product. Now the question becomes of what I call, and this is about, again, going back to the academy. This is at the core of the academy. I call it activating your mindfulness. What does that mean? This is not mindfulness, woo woo, let's go on top of a mountain and zen yourself and get rid of your biases and woo, is it
Woosah.
this, oh how. Now, and I think that's, and they say, oh, you have to be detached, you have to be this, you have to be that. That's nonsense. Okay. Impact happens in real world. So I can't be detached and impactful. I can't be detached and say, oh, I got rid of all my biases. But guess what? 2 minutes later, this is real life. And I hate the short people or tall people. And that's my bias. It is what it is. right? They say, "Oh, be mindful so that you can empathize with others." So why the hell do I want to empathize with others? I have to empathize with myself first. If it's the right thing to do, if I want to listen to you, empathizing, if I want to understand you, I want to do it because it matters, not because I want you to make you feel good and I don't care, right? So mindfulness in this area is, yes, I have to be aware of my own emotions. I'm afraid. Okay, I'm afraid. I'm nervous. I'm nervous. That's real, right? It's real. I have to be aware of my own abilities. I have to be aware of my skills. I have to be aware of the real world around me. I have to be aware of the situations. I may love donuts, but hey, if I live in a city where everybody is diabetics, nobody is gonna buy my donuts. I may be a great donut maker, but so I have to be aware of the situation around me. And this is not just in one moment. It's not again sitting down and going into a Zen mode. It's every moment I have to be aware. Every moment, because life is changing around us.
Right.
Life is changing around us. So I call that actuating or activating your mindfulness, making it active. Make it active. Be aware. And people say, well, how do I do that? I say, well, the next time you're going to go to the grocery store, decide which direction. You have a choice. You could go from left to right. You could go to Ralph's. You could go to the local market. You could go see why you go there. You make a decision for a reason. Be aware of the reasons.
Like UPS, they always go, they do their routes going in the right. They take rights because it's supposed to be quicker. So all their routes are, or they take right turns to
Yeah,
get where they
because
want to go.
excellent, excellent thing. Because UPS is a process, okay? And they have improved that process. You and I are not a process to be improved.
That's true.
We are not designed to be optimized for the maximum productivity to get. This is what they've pushed in our brain. We're not optimized to turn right every time. We want to take the road that's a little longer. We want to enjoy the scenery.
Says you, I want to get there. I'm go, 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 go. I'm a mom.
See,
I'm a mom
it's
with a job.
okay if, as long as, see, here's the thing, as long as you're aware that you say, this is how I define better, higher value, I'm okay with it. But when we say, oh, I'm all go, 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 I don't have time, oh, I'm this crazy life. No, you make that choice and it's okay. Enjoy the journey because you made that choice. You made
Yeah.
the choice to be go, go, go as a mom and you enjoy that momhood. Good for you. You're exchanging your values, your time, your efforts, your creativity, your money, whatever it is, with that. That's perfect. You're experiencing your entrepreneurial talent.
I'm a tasker, so I like to get all my tasks in because I also enjoy sitting in front of the TV and not doing anything. So, like on the weekends, I will go, 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 go get all the stuff done and then give myself the time at the end of the day to be able to have that, eat the dinner, and then relax. Like,
See, what you just said is this idea of exchange. Okay, we exchange our time and efforts and money for different things. I may save my money because when I get old, I want to have a lot of money. Somebody else says, "Heck with being old and traveling. I want to travel now. I want to enjoy my life now." That's their choice. But each one of those has a consequence. If I save and don't do anything then I'm not enjoying my time now. If I don't, then I'm gonna have a problem in the longer term. Somebody makes money and likes to take the kids to Disneyland, pay $250 for a 4-hour thing, then half of it they're sugar rushed and running around and they don't know what the hell they're doing. Somebody else says, "Well, this is a waste of time. I'm going to take them to a museum."
yeah.
It's a choice. It's a choice. Here's the thing. The thing that at the academy I emphasize, and this is why it's radically different, is I want you to realize that you have a choice. And 1, 2, 3, do it this way or that way. That's practical for Joe Schmo who's selling it for you as at XYZ. So, for example, here's the thing. Our the thing that gives everybody the massive amount of content, 60, 80 hours of content, is $27 a month. Okay. When I asked AI, you know what they valued it at? Between $4,000 to $5,000, and they are per course. So it's radically different.
Well, I'm an entrepreneur. I always tell this story about how I used to sell exact amount of money from our lunches were 25 cents, and I would sell my to the kids, they can come into my dad's bathroom and see his Playboys. So I would sell for 25 cents. They could see the Playboys for just a few minutes, and then they had to go. And then I did that for a little while until I went to, of course, I got sent to private school.
Yeah.
So I've been,
And there were
I've
no
been,
Playboys around for you to sell, huh?
no, I mean, this is back in the 70s. So I've always been an entrepreneur, like, I'm a go-getter, like I told you, but, I've created businesses a few times. And I let a few just decided not to continue. Like, I was a photographer, and I was good at it too, but I decided to go back to school and got an MBA. But I opened a preschool, and it didn't end well. I mean, it started great. I made $1 million. I went to a commercial property, a 10,000 square foot building with a 30,000 square foot play yard. It was pretty big, staff 28, yada, yada. And then the economy hit here. I opened it in a not so great time. And it was hard to keep it open when everybody's losing their job. Nobody needs daycare anymore. You know what I mean? So it's that. But what I know now, in business, I would have maybe had different choices back. I got an MBA since then, and I'm a little bit smarter, and I might have maybe reached out to an angel investor or somebody to help me through that rugged time. But I'm a failed entrepreneur. If you think about it, I ended up selling
No,
it.
you are a learned entrepreneur. There is no failed entrepreneur.
I feel like a failure, but
Yeah, see, that's the problem, because that's the society pushing us that if you don't accomplish this external thing, if you don't accomplish this thing, then you are a failure. Now, who said that's success? Some societal thing says that that's success.
well,
No,
here's what I say though. Here's what I say. I built the largest preschool, still the largest in my town. Okay. It's still working for the town as it should. It's bringing childcare in a much needed industry. We need more childcare. There's just not enough. We could probably have 10 more like that and still barely scrape the surface in our town. In Bakersfield, I live in the middle of California. But I just feel like, I feel like if I had the opportunity or I had the investing, I probably could turn my knowledge and turn it around and open another preschool just like that, because I've done it from the ground up. I started it in my living room, but I
so
have
why
that.
don't you? What's stopping you?
Money, probably.
So I work with a lot of entrepreneurs. The greatest thing that they say is the problem is money. It's not money. It's
Yeah.
not money. If you have a cure for cancer, everybody would sell their homes if they have cancer. If they don't have cancer, they would, right? Now, you asked me a question that got us here, which is how many people have you seen that they don't have the capabilities? And I think what happens is because they're not aware of all those elements, their emotions, their situations, their talents, their capabilities, they think success is like a light switch. It's not like a light switch. It's not like, it's like a caterpillar turns into a butterfly. It takes a lot of time. And at every moment, if I'm aware of all of those, the level of risk I take, the level of this, I need. So here's the thing, and people confuse skills with skillfulness. Skillfulness is about how do you use those skills. Okay. So you have an MBA. Perfect. But it's not that you have an MBA that you would be prosperous. It's how do you use the things that are in there and put it together in your own way.
It's
There
all
are
the lessons you learn along the way. It's the failures. It's the successes.
It's
It's
all
the
of that in a soup,
process.
in a
Yes.
soup that
Yes.
you are the
Stone soup.
cook.
Stone soup.
It's yeah, it's you put all of that stuff together, and now you're authentic you. Your experience is very different than mine, and you put that all together. If you are aware of all of those, and if you are willing to make a dish, then you can make a dish.
Yeah, that's so true. Yeah, it's funny is that I'm like, I started this podcast because I wrote a book and I wanted to sell my book and I wanted to talk about the issues in the book. And one of my issues that I lived through was being an entrepreneur and starting a business. And this is helpful information for families because there are a lot of Well, first of all, how do we teach our kids to be little entrepreneurs? Like, how do we instill, into our children? How would you like get them start them young? How would you get them start them? I mean, lemonade stands. I tried that. I also did lemonade stands. I sold lemonade and popcorn when I was little. I was
So,
like on the
most people, again, let's go back to the
okay,
definition.
okay.
Most people define entrepreneurship as you are selling something. You are selling something.
But mindfulness. They need to be. I mean, we got to keep.
That's right. They need to realize and be aware of their choices, that you have a choice to do A, B, C, and D. And if they realize it, and then they have to be able to apply critical thinking in terms of, okay, I have a judgment. I see this. I use their, okay, I'm afraid here now, but I shouldn't live with fear, but fear is real, right? So what they're learning is the way they put the puzzles together. And when they have that ability, they know they can sell lemonades, or they can become Nvidia, or they can choose to work somewhere with an entrepreneurial spirit. But you can't put somebody and say, oh, because I put my son or daughter, I have a restaurant from 10 years old. He cleans dishes or whatever. Then that guy is okay. I mean, no. After a while, he hates that because he doesn't know why the hell am I cleaning these dishes. You think you're teaching him a skill of cleaning dishes? Oh, it's hard. Business is hard. Well, then he's going to say, why the hell do I want to do this? This is stupid.
I understand. I think that if you do have a business, I would. When I was younger, I worked at the old spaghetti factory in Fresno,
Hmm.
and when I was like 19 or whatever, one of the rules that they did for the managers is they make them work every single job in the whole place so that they know how to manage it when they become the manager. So part of your training process to be a manager is learning, you know, how to be a busser, how to be a waitress, how to be a bartender, a cocktail server, a cook, a line cook, all of those things. And I think that if you own a business, like let's say a restaurant or a bodega or whatever you want to call it, yeah, get them to do the stuff that's not so great, but then also,
See,
but
I agree. I agree with you. But see, I want to dissect this because we go back into, if I have a spaghetti
what I was
factory.
saying was also teach them, the what you're doing, the books and why you're doing certain process.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I don't disagree with that. But here's the thing. You have decided that they have chosen to be in this business.
True. I guess it would be, would you want to ask them if this is
Ah,
what they
at
want to
10
know?
years old, why do I know? I don't know. People say, oh, follow your passion. I don't know what that's stupid. My passion is about singing.
Video games.
My passion is music. I don't know one note from the other. It's, you know, it's finding love in what you do, finding attention and caring and all of that. And when you do that, see, there's this thing about in organization development about empowering your employees. You've heard that? You've probably read it in the MBA books a lot. I think that's stupid. Empowering your employees gives the power to the employer. So now I'm going to empower you, give you power. No, the employee has the choice, has the creativity, I just got to get out of the way and let them exercise their power of being better, looking for better, creating more. I just got to get out of the way. Now, in business, of course, I have to have some railways, some guide rails that he doesn't, or she doesn't go haywire. But it's not. I'm not giving people any power. They have the power.
But you're just giving them a little freedom
Correct.
to explore their creativity, or the thing is, you can't be rigid when it comes to business. I learned this as an owner of a preschool. You have to accept that maybe your processes aren't the best. And if somebody has a better idea, I mean, you do what's best for the overall community of the business and everybody involved, all the peeps. That's
Yeah.
why I look at it.
See, the thing is, the minute that you say, I have these processes, we've always done it that way, that's exactly when you should reconsider and improve.
Yeah, like
Exactly that
that's
point.
why using AI is like, let's roll back to AI, and that's why AI is impactful in a lot of ways. How these kids in the next decade, how do we help them use AI to help problem solve and adapt? I guess, or I mean,
So
AI is a huge
first thing
thing.
is the Chinese and in Southeast Asia. they're starting to teach kids from kindergarten and from first grade how to use AI for doing different things. We, on the other side, have banned it in a lot of our states because we think, oh, wait a minute, this is not the right thing to do. This is taking control over, from the parents and the well, guess what? In 20 years, 30 years, they have the tools that they have been built into different way of thinking and doing than we were. And it's, that's how we evolved physically. This is the thing. There's a era, they call it the explosion era. This is last 40,000 years, Jessica, of humanity. That starts from when we started to write on, cave walls and paint and understand math a little bit. This is one, this is two. From that time, 40,000 years, and we've evolved. We've discovered different things, acted different ways, done different things, grown. Are we as opposed to 30 years of age that we die? We now are 89 or 80 or 100 or whatever. So we've evolved in some form or fashion. Now we are at the cusp of what I call explosion era 2.0 because the things that we've evolved in are not enough for the future. We have to evolve here.
You
And
mean
the
America?
evolution, all
Or
of
you think
us.
overall?
I'm thinking humanity altogether. I'm thinking all of us that are stuck with this sameness. We are stuck with this procedural thing. We look at ourselves as process that has to be improved. That's the problem.
I mean, how do we do this? So if parents are listening and then they're feeling overwhelmed about the pace of change, what are things they can do to prepare the
So,
kids?
so let me give you some. It begins with how you look at life. It begins with how you look at life. First of all, Jessica, assume for a minute, imagine for a minute that there is no change. How old are your kids?
32, 24, 15.
Okay, imagine that they were five and they're still five. Imagine that the weather is perfect. It's 72 degrees. It's not as hot as these days, and it's absolutely perfect. But imagine every day was like that. Imagine every day you have a McDonald's for lunch. Imagine nothing is changes. You don't have the kids. You don't see them marry. You don't go to college. You don't see them. There is no change. Right? It's horrible, isn't it?
Yeah, I'd be stuck at like, mom, 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 mom. Like, go
Uh
away.
huh. Uh-huh. Imagine you're the best ball player in the world and you're famous or you're a Nobel Prize winner. You're whatever you want. You want Beyonce, you are Beyonce. You want whatever you want. You're that. You're all that you want to be. But there is no change. You sing the same song as Whitney Houston every day. It is horrible. So change, Jessica, is the only friend we have that gives us options. Nobody, nothing in the world gives you options to choose from which provides you with a path for growth, for something better. So, step one, if they're afraid, they should think of change differently. That it's not my enemy, it's actually my friend. But
True.
it provides me now with this responsibility that, okay, if I have these choices, which one do I pick? Which direction do I go? And how do I break from my addictions of sameness? I'm used to this routine of life. If I feel that, okay, and this is for me and for my kids as a parent, this is for me and for my kids. It's not just for my kids. Because the minute they say, I don't want to change anything, this is for my kids. Now, guess what? There is a duality in practice and in perspective. So I'm telling you, well, you don't eat too much fat, but it's okay for me. My kids gonna look at me and say, what the heck? You don't like broccoli. Why are you shoving it down my throat?
So
Right.
true.
So step one is to realize that change is not bad. Okay. How we react to it, our decisions are important. And no decision is final because we always have change giving us more options. Okay. So then it's this idea of realizing that we are born to create better. We're not born to survive. We're born to create better. And we have the ability to create better. That's our entrepreneurial ability to exchange what we have with something better. And we decide what we have. We decide what is better. What we have doesn't have to be a degree in engineering, doesn't have to be a medical degree, doesn't have to be a 10,000 of this, doesn't have to be tall and handsome, doesn't have to be. We decide what we have and we decide what is better. But life is not like a switch. There is an incremental thing. So, A, You asked what they should do. A, realize that change is not your enemy. Look at it differently. Look at it as a friend. B, realize that you are an entrepreneur born to create better, and your kids are the same. And everybody you deal with is the same. Your husband is the same. The person you deal with as a customer is the same. The person employee that you work with. We're all designed to do this. All of us. And if we realize that, then we look for interactions and exchanges that creates better. Now we become aware. So we're activating our mindfulness of looking at things, and things would fall into place. Our kids would see that they have options. They see that they have options. They exercise that they can get better. They can be better. Not necessarily the way better is defined by me. Better is not necessarily what the society defines as better. Better is defined what they define as better. And yes, they could be wrong, but we're both the art and the artist. And the first version of our art may not be the best version. But if we realize that we can improve it.
Yeah, because I was going to ask you the biggest skills that maybe they, and like I kind of see what you're saying though, because yeah, I mean AI is, I mean, I just lost my train of thought, but AI is is the wave of the future, and if they're not utilizing it and accepting it, and know that it is a big difference. Sorry to some of the Gen Xers where you know we had our phones were connected with wires and to the wall, and things are changing, and our computers are they're becoming obsolete. Like if your computer doesn't have this amount of RAM or this amount of this, it's almost like I have to upgrade my computer every few years because I don't have enough power. AI takes an extremely a lot of power when you use it. I don't know if you've ever, if when people are out there, it sucks up a lot and it gets slow if you don't have enough power. Things are just changing, and you
So
have to.
here's the thing I ask you. I asked you, Jessica, if you want to dig it, uh, dig a hole outside in your yard to plant something. Do you think you have a new wonderful plant that you want to plant outside in your yard, right? It's beautiful. Uh, do you think that if there's a shovel right next to you, it's better to take your hands and get the dirt with your hands, or is it better to use the shovel?
Use a shovel.
Would it make a difference in terms of how fast you get that thing in? Of course, it would make a difference. Can you then do two trees or three trees or two flowers or three flowers in the same amount of time that you could plant one? Yes, you can. And wouldn't it be that then you have a garden as opposed to just one plant? That you started to do that and it took you a whole day to dig with your hands? Of course. So if we think of it as this is a tool, it's an ability that can get us to be more creative, to be better, to plant more flowers in our head, in our life, then
Anabasis
it's not a bad
Academy
thing.
is a shovel, is what you're saying.
No, it's AI is the shovel. Anabasis Academy is to provoke you to see the shovel.
That's true. Okay. Ah, see, my mind. I'm blowing my mind. I just love how you can pull it all together, and I could talk to you all day on this. Legit. But let's circle back a little bit more. I want to discuss where people can go and find your academy, how they can find you, and anything else you want to talk about that maybe I missed, because you're just so easy to talk to and listen to. Like I can listen to you all day. You must be a really good professor, because like I would just be there. I'd be writing everything down because that's what I did in college. I literally legit took notes about everything you said. I'm like, oh, I
Yeah,
might be on the.
those people take the notes, but they never follow it. It's like it makes its way in it ends up wrapping a burrito or something. I feel, or being a whole. I don't know. So I have books. I have a couple of books. They're in the back over there. But I joke around and say, hey, people say, oh, can I have one of your books? I say, what? You have a wobbly couch in the home. You want to put it underneath? Are you gonna read it actually?
Isn't that
Uh,
funny? Like that's funny because I think the same thing. I wrote a book, but notice I'm like all 12 people. My family read it. I don't know. Like
but
I
it
don't know.
doesn't matter. And so here's the thing. I'm gonna share this because you will find a day where when that would happen to you. I was doing a talk. This is about a month ago. Yeah, about a month ago. And I did I did the talk was finished, and I said, "Okay, let's open it up to questions and stuff." And some guy from back of the room, there were maybe 100, 200, 300 people in the back of the room, did this. I said, "Yes, in the back. What can I do for you?" This was in a guy, maybe my age, maybe a little younger. And he got up, and they gave him a mic, and he said, said, "I don't really have a question." I said, "Okay." He said, "But I want to tell you something." 7, 8 years ago, I came to one of your book signings over at whatever, and I bought one of your books. I think it was the first book, The Caterpillar's Edge. And I gave it to my son, who was just graduating from college. And a month or two later, he came to me and he says, "This book changed my life." And he's now actually in Mexico. I just sent him an email and I took a picture and I say, see who I am here with, right? Now that is worth every single tear, every single change, every single draft that I had done. Every single draft. We touched someone. You touched someone. And you have accomplished something big. That's being a teacher. And we're all a teacher for each other. You don't have to write a book to touch someone. You have to care. You have to listen. You have to be aware. And if you
Yeah,
are aware, you touch people. And when you touch people, we all live in a much, much greater place.
that's
Anyways,
so that is so profound, and I do appreciate you giving me that advice because I have heard somebody tell me that they found themselves in my words, and so to me that if I touch somebody in a way that was, in any way, and they enjoyed the book then or laughed at the with me, in the
yeah,
book or whatever,
yeah,
all of those
yeah.
things, if they
Yeah.
enjoyed
See,
it,
the thing is that they force us to define. You wrote a book. Did you write a book to become Elon Musk and a billionaire? Okay, if you did, you were miscalculating the realities of the world. Okay.
right.
It's a fact. Now, if you weren't aware of the fact that 99% of the people, the only books that make money is, Obama or Bush or somebody important, some conspiracy of some sort that, the deep throat, those things make money. The average Joe doesn't make any money writing books. Okay, because I get like 10 cents on the book. What am I going to make this thing for? I mean, and I'm published with some of the biggest publishers there is. So what are we going to do with it? Nothing. It doesn't help me. But if you define your success, meaning what you exchange it with, what is of higher value, the fact that that person laughed with you and found themselves in the book with you, that is the ability of being aware and defining what is better. You define what is better and you're satisfied. You have experienced your entrepreneurial talent.
And I'm leaving, and even in this podcast, and even in this episode, when my kids hear this, kids, I love you. They're going to hear my voice when I'm gone. They're going to be able to, I'll carry on. And same with my book. They can read it and say, "Oh, I can't believe Mom put that in the book." But, but it'll be there for my kids for the future and any other future kids that want to read a story about a crazy kid that got into all kinds of trouble. So, but,
That's
okay.
wonderful. That's wonderful. Let me tell you about you asked me about where they can find me and about the academy. The academy is called Anabasis Academy. That is Ana. That means in Latin it means moving up. Basis means the base. Basis. Basis. Ana basis means moving the base up. So Anabasis Academy is the academy for us to move the base up. And the site is anabasisacademy.org, and you can go find it. Just click on something, join one of our wake up calls. We have it on 3 time zones now because we had people in China. It was too early, late for them. We had people in, Hawaii. It was too early for them, and so we had to figure out this multi-time zone thing. And then, if you're intrigued, you can listen to all the other episodes, older episodes of these, by paying $1 for life. That is $1 gives you a membership for life. 4 quarters, 4 peaks at your Playboy. Huh?
I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to post your website on my website, and that way they can go straight there from if they,
Wonderful,
yeah,
wonderful.
they'll have,
And then they can also, we have a different level that's called committed, and they can apply to be sponsored. That means we have people who would pay for them. for the first 3 months until they say, "Oh, is this for me or is it not for me?"
Well, that's
Uh,
that's pretty special.
and that's pay it forward kind of
Mhm.
again. This is why it's radically different. We're gonna touch as many people as we can, and then I'm gonna ask you to touch as many people that you can. And if you create a better life and you exercise your entrepreneurial behavior and talents, and if you are aware and you embrace change, and your neighbor does, and your kids do, and my neighbors and my kids do, imagine what a great world we're gonna live in.
This is why I did childcare because I have kids that are now getting married that I was, they were in my family daycare and I was changing their diapers and now they're
And
having
and tell me again why you consider that a failure? Tell me again. Tell me again why looking at that 30 or 2 year old that's getting married is not great when you change their diaper.
I
Tell me
know.
again why that was a failure
It
and not a
wasn't a
humongous
failure
success. It was failure based on somebody else's measuring stick.
measuring. Yeah, like I measured myself against people that are, I know what you're saying. It was a success, and I did sell it at a time when my child was ill, and so I thought, I use that. Oh, I sometimes feel I use it as an excuse, but I focused on family and chose
Yeah,
family.
you had something, you exchanged it for something better, which was the time with your children.
I chose my family and my children over my business, but I can look back on it and I can actually help people that are, if you're out there and you want a little bit of advice, just reach out to me. I have you can go to my website. It's www.justsaying.net. And you can find Sid's website there for Anabasis Academy. That's ANABASIS Academy.com.
Dot
Is it
org.
.org? Sorry.
It's
Well,
both. They both they whatever they put they go, but it's
both will
dot
get
org. Yeah,
they'll both get you there, basically.
yeah, they both get you there. Or they
And
can or they can Google me and they'll see lots of books, lots of videos, lots of podcasts, lots of everything. And TED
he,
talks and things of that sort.
well, he is the entrepreneur philosopher, so you're going to
Now
be
you
able
know
to.
why they call me the philosopher. Right? I'm a bit crazy, go on this
You can break it
tangents a
all
bit.
down. I mean, you broke it all down for me. I'm kind of like I'm not slow. Don't get me wrong, but I like to take my time when I'm hearing someone so I can take it all in and you just have that gift of gab and you really can explain things in a great way. And this
You
Annabeth.
humble me. Thank you so much for
Oh,
saying that.
you're a delight to have on my show. And the Anabasis Academy will show you how you can unlock your shovels, your tools. It'll unlock your tools and help you because you know what, entrepreneurs that are searching for business advice and help, sometimes it helps to get a different perspective and break it all down because, when I put my business together, I had nothing but Google and we didn't have AI and, I didn't have a degree. I didn't have any kind of formal education and I did it all on my own. But sometimes it would be good to have somebody holding your hand a little bit and helping you walk you through some of the steps
I
of
want
what
to I want to I want to add something to that because it's important for your audience, and that is you can read 1,000 marketing books. You could read 1,000 leadership books. You could read 1,000 skills are important, but it is being skillful that is
skillful.
more important, which is how do you put these things together in your own authentic way because you're different than anybody else. I want people not to confuse having skills with being skillful.
Because
Being,
when there's a will, there's a way,
yeah,
right? You're right.
if there is a will, there is a way, but finding that way requires you to be mindful and aware of what are the options. How do I do this? And it's not about a matter of education. It's a matter of a way of thinking. And that's why progress begins in your mind. Progress begins in your mind. It has nothing to do with your age. Look at KFC and all that with the guy who's 69 or 67
Right.
starting
He
it.
was an old fart when he got his buckets of chicken going.
Yeah. But it has nothing to do with age. It has
Boy, I,
nothing to do with
right,
It has
sorry.
nothing to do when you were born, either if it's in South Africa and Mr. Elon Musk or India and the CEO of Microsoft. It has nothing to do when you were born. It has nothing to do with your background. It has to do with a will to be aware, to see that it's a stage thing. You have to evolve, not in one shot, but in stages. And to realize that your satisfaction should not necessarily always match with what others define as success.
This is so
You
true.
were successful not because your daycare center made $1 trillion, but because of all those people that you helped and because you exchanged it at the right time to be with your kid. Never say I'm a failed entrepreneur,
And
Jessica.
also, I had a good time doing it, and also I felt like a successful person. That was something that I did all on my own. And it's on one of those, when you're a daycare provider, you always dream about being big and successful with, a big center and all of that. And I did it. I Domination by determination is what I always say.
It's
So
been a pleasure to be with you, Jessica. I've talked
I
too much. So,
No, you did a great job. I appreciate you spending all your time and breaking it down for us. And I hope everybody goes to your website or go to mine. Also visit me I'm on all of the social medias. Just come and subscribe and like. I need a good following. Do all the things, follow and like and heart me. And I do appreciate you, Sid, for taking your time today and being on
it's
Just
been
Say.
my pleasure. It's been my
Thank,
pleasure.
thank you. See you later.
Gather around when the sun dips low, talking about the days we used to know. VCR tapes and dial-up tones, raising kids living with achy bones.